If you're like me, you are tired of trying to find jeans that fit right no matter your build and still look good. Introducing the newest sponsor of the Double Doing podcast, Sweat Tailor, a premium menswear brand that is defining a new kind of casual. I started wearing Sweat Tailor and I am blown away by how comfortable and affordable the clothes are. And of course, they look great. My favorite is the all-in pants. It's a 5-pocket pant that feels like sweats but look way better. Thoughtfully tailored and unbelievably stretchy. From jackets and pants to joggers and hoodies, Sweat Tailor's designs are made to seamlessly fit into your life, moving from runway to office, office to drinks, and drinks to wherever the night takes you. Specializing in casual wear for men, pieces are designed with comfort and versatility in mind for your everyday. Use promo code BDEEGST. That is BDEEGST for 25% off. That again is BDEEGST for 25% off your order at sweattailor.com. And welcome back to another episode of the Double Doink Podcast. My name is Brenden D. Thanks so much for tuning in today. We're talking strictly Philadelphia Eagles. We're going to recap week one. Eagles defeat the New England Patriots 25-20. They cover the spread, which is the most important part, of course. I'm joined by none other than Thomas Petersen. Thomas, how we doing? How was that? Football's back.
Football's back.
The adrenaline's going through the veins again. That was definitely a game, that's for sure.
How did they win that game? How is it physically possible to win that game?
We both felt like it was a loss. We were talking kind of after the Jalen Hurts fumble. I'm like, this feels like an L. It's coming.
Yeah, and for all of the mistakes they pulled off, and for how much the Patriots offense suddenly got going and started actually converting their drives into touchdowns, you just had the feeling it was a matter of time. And that Jalen Hurts fumble really put the nail in the coffin, I thought, because it's like there's no way the defense is getting two straight fourth down stops, back-to-back drives. But yeah, I mean, kudos to the defense for stepping up there for sure.
Yeah, some penalties helped out the Eagles towards the end and through the game as well. There's a couple of calls that were on the Patriots that helped them out. But let's start with the offense because I think that's the biggest storyline of this game. Like you brought up the defense holding in at the end, but I guess question: what do you think went wrong with the offense? Was it the play calling? Was it the players? Was it a specific player? Like I
think it was really it was
right. It felt like
and really that I think it boils down to week one and in the first team offense not having played in a game situation full speed. Because when you can't point to a specific thing or a specific player or a specific aspect of the offense being wrong, being bad, it's usually a symptom of just not being ready as a unit. Because there weren't that many penalties, but when there were, they were killer. Like that Jordan Mailata holding when they were actually driving down the field, completely shut off all the execution on that drive. You had Lane Johnson getting beat constantly in the second quarter. You had Landon Dickerson constantly getting beat in the first half. Cam Jurgens looked like the better of the entire offensive line in that second quarter of the game, well into the third quarter. He was holding more than his own, but the problem is that they got so much pressure on Hurts. Hurts didn't see anything down the field. He panicked in his mind. He escaped out the pocket immediately. He had he didn't trust the timing to get rid of the ball before the pressure was there, so he just kind of bailed out the pocket in that regard. And then you had some questionable play calling. I thought you brought up you texted me like that 3rd and 7 screen to Devontae Smith went nowhere,
and then the next drive you call a 3rd and draw. Yeah, like it felt the offense. I agree with you. Like it was the players, the offensive line was really rough in the second quarter, like you brought up. Especially from like guys like Lane Johnson, like getting beat. It was kind of uncharacteristic of him. And then there's just no one open downfield. Then the play calling, it felt like there was no, like last year when the Eagles on offense, every play was built off each other. Like the next play led up to the next play. It was in sync. It was in rhythm. It was like a well-oiled machine almost. Today, it felt like it was just, there was no game plan almost. Like they were kind of just swinging it, winging it. Like just, we don't know. We weren't prepared for this. It was pretty bizarre. I was really caught off guard by it.
We assumed that they would be just coming out guns blazing and just pick off right where they left off from the Super Bowl and that the entire momentum they picked up there. And how much the offense was on point, and they were in training camp. I guess it really just goes to point out that you can't simulate the game in practice.
Mm-hmm.
You can't simulate a game in preseason either. So I mean, this whole notion going on, the starters should have played in the in the preseason games. Like, give me a fucking break. Like, that would not have changed a thing in this game.
Mm-hmm. I hate the concussion uncles that do that. Say like you have to play in the preseason. No, like look at the injuries that happened. It has nothing to do with that. You're right. I'm not like worried about it. Like I do believe this team's going to bounce back and the offense is going to be fine. Like it's one game here, but it's on my radar a little bit here, just because it felt like technical. It wasn't like just the talent, right? Like if the play calling was not built off one another, like I said, and it kind of felt like there was almost like 3 seconds delayed from the coach to the quarterback. We talked about how we're probably going to see like a play where Jalen Hurts is going to be going like get the play call in. It almost felt like that happened a couple times. It happened on special teams. Nick Sirianni had to call 2 timeouts on special teams because the players weren't in on time. It was just behind the scenes stuff wasn't clicking, and on top of the players not playing well. But
yeah, that whole sequence there of the Jordan Mailata holding, then Hurts throwing into double coverage, then another draw on 3rd and 20 to get someone into field goal range.
You needed 6
and
yards
then on the field goal,
you
you can't even muster 11 guys on the field goal attempt, and you're in such a far distance, you can't take the 5-yard penalty, so they have to burn a timeout in that situation. It was just so damn sloppy. The fact you don't have your personnel ready for field goals, it's not even being rushed on the field. It's just a standard field goal situation, and you have 10 guys on the field. Like, what are we doing? Yeah.
Yeah, it felt off. Like it didn't feel like the team last year. But again, they won. Like, and I don't want to overreact to this at all. I was curious your thoughts if you were kind of seeing the same thing that I was, just with the behind the scenes and the coaching aspect of this. Do you think Brian Johnson can do this? Like, not the offense as a whole, but do you think like we're gonna miss Steichen, or do you like? What's your take?
It's going to take some time. I mean, it's just going to be a natural learning curve, and I guess maybe we have to temper our expectations a little bit in that Brian Johnson's coming in his first, like calling his first game against Bill Belichick, and for as much as we say we go into this game thinking, all right, they're missing a Jones, they're starting cornerback, they don't have like the big time names on defense. Patriots defense played really, really well. Like they tackled better than a lot of teams that I've seen. Keon White had a really good game pass rushing.
Playing time too. I felt like he wasn't on the field in critical times.
No,
like when he was on the field, he was playing well.
Matt Judon got some really good work in there as well. Yeah, I mean,
Christian Gonzalez got
blitzing in there as well. I mean, and that guy, I have 27, I believe it was. Like, I have no idea who he is. And the guy who made the big tackle on AJ Brown coming across her, when they did the all-out blitz early in the game. I mean, when have you seen
Miles Bryant?
When have you seen a small dude come in and make that big of a hit on AJ Brown and immediately take him down? Like the king of yak. Yeah. So got to give Patriots credit as well. And it's, so I think for as much as we'd like this to just be a well-oiled machine to begin with, I also think it's reasonable to, give Brian some time to get this thing going here. He didn't force Lane Johnson to get beat off the edge constantly. He didn't force Jalen Hurts to fumble the ball. He didn't make the reads from Jalen Hurts that he couldn't find Dallas Goedert on wide open throws down the field. So, I think we should cut Brian a little bit of slack and just get our frustrations out on the whole unit really as an executioner.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, I think he's going to be fine. I was just curious to see like if you were more worried about him than the entire offense itself. But yeah, it kind of starts with Jalen Hurts too. Like, let's talk about him. I thought it was like it wasn't close to a Super Bowl performance. Like last time we saw him on the field, I thought there was one play that the commentary showed of Dallas Goedert running like right down the seam, wide open. And then it was like a deep out route, so up the seam and to the right. And it was a deep ball to I think it was Devonta Smith. That wasn't double coverage, and Dallas Goedert was wide open. I think Jalen Hurts was just a little skittish, and did he not seem stiff to you? Like you brought up like into being the DMs, he felt slower, like he kind of just felt indecisive a little bit. He looked uncomfortable.
It looked like he had gotten clear, maybe not instructions, maybe it's something they talked about, but it was evident that whenever he took off running, he was very quickly to go down, and he got down like awkwardly, like kind of rocking baby type cotton getting down like from time to time when he was running out there. You're like, oh yeah, he's got some space. He can get like maybe 2 or 3 or 4 yards here, and he just goes down super slowly, and you're like
it looked like it was in his head, like he knew he had to get down at some point. Like exactly, it wasn't like I'm gonna go get these next 3 yards.
Right.
I have to
get
down.
And the one time he actually decides to go and make contact, he fumbles the fucking ball.
He's drilled. That was honestly, Jabril Peppers, hats off. That was an unreal tackle.
That's what I'm talking about. The entire defense of the Patriots, they came hitting in this game.
Yeah. They wanted it. It was Tom Brady night. They wanted to show up for the GOAT, you know?
It was Tom Brady night for sure.
The Patriots defense played really well.
Yeah, and they shut down their Eagles running game after that first drive big time. Like that first drive, I really thought, all right, we really got the running game going here. It's looking good. Offensive line is moving, and they couldn't move anything afterwards. DeAndre with one carry?
Yeah, so I have the Eagles. I want to talk about that next rushing stats. So Kenneth Gainwell led the way with 14 carries. Jalen Hurts with 9. Boston Scott and DeAndre Swift combined for 2 carries, 1 each. So out of 16 total running back carries, Gainwell got 14 of them. The running game was non-existent, and they didn't trust it. You could tell towards the end of the game, they continued to throw the ball. Like usually in the third quarter, like going back to last year, the Eagles like to get that run game going. They like to kind of pound it down their throats, like finish with the big boys, finish with Kelsey on the move, and get the offensive line going. They were doing drop back passes, and they were running just standard routes. Like there wasn't any run off the pass build, like play action game. There wasn't any of that towards the end. They did not trust the Eagles running backs at all, which I tweeted out. I think they really could have used Rashad Penny in this game. Like as much as they know Rashad Penny better than I do, but it did feel like they could have used a person that could run in between the tackles, and it was not there today.
I was so confident when they lined up for that 4th and 2, the very last play for the offense there. They had Boston Scott as the running back there. I was sure if they went for that with Boston Scott diving out of the middle, he would have gotten it. Mm-hmm. It's just a classic Boston Scott type play, like getting those 2-3 yards, like slicing right up in a somewhere in a gap where there's just a little bit of room, and they throw the ball.
That was a terrible call to AJ Brown. That slant route.
I knew it when I saw it that they're probably going to throw the slant to AJ because they did that so many times last year in those critical situations to finish the game, and it's worked once maybe. Mm-hmm. And I don't know what it is. I don't know why they shy away from the run like that. If it's trying to like overthink things, like they think we're going to run it, we're going to throw the slant to AJ. Like just run the ball. I mean,
and like it's 4th and 2, and the most critical part of the game, and Boston Scott's on the field. Like you want Kenneth Gainwell to take a step. You trade for DeAndre Swift. You sign Rashad Penny, and you're back to Boston Scott. Like, look, it's fine, but it feels underwhelming. Like you made all these moves at running back, and you want to give Kenneth Gainwell more leeway here in this offense, but like you don't use him at that critical time. They completely went away from what worked on the first drive with Gainwell. He was looking good on the at the beginning. So yeah, it was just a weird offensive game. The Double Doink Podcast is officially sponsored by Manscaped. Fresh Ball Fall is upon us, and you need to be in the festive spirit. Light a candle, get some pumpkin spice, and make sure your balls look nice with the sponsors of today's show, Manscaped. Nature may clear the leaves off the trees, but you'll need Manscaped's help to get you ready for the sweater weather. Get your pants puppies prepared for cuffing season with trim as refreshing as a ball breeze by going to manscaped.com and using code DOINK for 20% off everything plus free shipping. It's time for nice flannels and cozy socks, but we can't forget to trim our balls. By now, you've heard of them, but it's time to join the 9 million men worldwide who use Manscaped and get the kit that covers it all, the Performance Package 4.0. It starts with the Lawnmower 4.0 trimmer with advanced skin-safe technology that reduces nicks and cuts to make the raking the leaves a lot less painful. Once you've cleared the driveway, the performance package comes in hot with products to cool you down. The Crop Preserver Ball Deodorant and Crop Reviver Ball Spray Toner, one to prevent stink and one to clear it up. With a soothing aloe vera formula, move over pumpkin spice, fresh balls are the smell of the season. The Performance Package 4.0 caps it off with 2 free gifts, the Manscaped Boxers and the Shed Travel Bag. That's one to hold your Manscaped goodies and one to hold your man goodies. Bring in the fall right and get 20% off and free shipping with code DOINK at manscaped.com. That's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com and use code DOINK. As the leaves fall, make sure you have it all with Manscaped. The Double Doink podcast is sponsored by BetterHelp. Life is hard. It's especially hard when you don't have someone you can open up to. Not everyone is comfortable talking to their friends and family about their personal matters or anything that is bothering them on a day-to-day basis. Mental health is so important to continued success in this world. Therapy is a great way to regroup and get everything off your chest. Insert BetterHelp. BetterHelp is the largest online therapy service, 100% online. They will match you with a professional licensed therapist you can trust. You can talk with your therapist however you see fit, via text, phone call, or video chat. BetterHelp has successfully helped over 4 million people worldwide deal with their day-to-day mental health issues. Use the link in the podcast description to get 10% off your first month at BetterHelp.
Yeah.
Anything on any other players in the offense? I thought Jack Stoll had a rough game. I thought he missed a couple key blocks. Kind of caught my eye. AJ Brown and Devonta Smith were fine. I really wish that AJ Brown was a catch that tossed to the sidelines.
Yeah.
That was a beautiful play. That was the best play of the game.
I had a rough time with that call because when you saw both the angles there, I couldn't tell. And I don't know if they had another angle that we didn't see. I couldn't tell from those two that he 100% didn't have one hand or the other on the ball.
Yeah, it was tough.
So I was just thinking, like, they ruled it a catch. Do they have that clear, precise evidence to say that the ball was bubbled enough to where he didn't have? I thought it was a weird call. But yeah.
I think if it was like, if they had like an angle closer to the ball, would have showed that it was out. I think it wasn't a catch, but it was like, you're right. I don't think the angle was there to overturn it, but it did look like one of those where he kind of let the ball air go and pull it back. But like it did look like a catch in real time. But that was disappointing. That was their best call.
All right.
I think
enough with the depression thing. Jalen Carter. Let's get to it.
Let's do it. Defense. Jalen Carter was the best player on the field today, Thomas. Like I fully believe that. He was awesome in his debut.
Insane. Like I thoroughly there's nothing I'm looking forward to more this week than watching Jalen Carter in the All-22 whenever that gets released. Mm-hmm. I am confident in saying that he won 9 out of 10 of his single rep, one-on-one blocking reps, and I think he won about 40 to 50% of his double teams.
He was, the way he's able to just swim over, like that club swim move is perfection. He uses it so well. So Jalen Carter's final stats on the day, he had 1 sack, 1 tackle, 1 TFL, and he's credited with 1 quarterback hit. I think you could probably include, I think I saw about 4 pressures maybe. Did you kind of get the same read? I think he had 3 in the first half.
Well, I have a cut up that I'm going to be releasing here whenever we're done with this here. I have 5 QB pressures.
Okay.
And I have a sack.
Nice. And then what's up? 1 QB hit too. Yeah, it was
that is taken into consideration that they are throwing the ball within 2 seconds.
Quickly, yes. They weren't pushing the ball downfield at all.
Like, he's not just winning these reps; he's winning them at the point of the snap. Like it's snap, bam, beaten.
That one clip that went around, like he's literally right in Mac Jones's face, and then ends up like an 8-yard gain for a first down. But like he just instantly beats the defensive lineman. Yeah, he was popping off the screen today. He was easily the best defensive player. I also thought Jordan Davis played really well, Thomas.
Yeah,
I don't know if you caught that as well. And they trusted him late in the game on pass rush, which they didn't do at all last year. So that was really cool to see.
I think he showed up too. I mean, he collapsed the pocket on those pass down situations, and he stood his ground against the run big time as well. Like they got everything on the sides, like the screens, the running back swings, the tight ends coming out in the flat. Whenever they were running up the middle or doing anything over the middle, Jordan Davis was right there to pick it up.
Jordan Davis, 6 tackles, 3 solo, a half sack, a TFL, and a quarterback hit. He was really impressive. He had the forced fumble too early on in the game because of turnover. It was nice to see them trust him. Like, it was nice to see them put him in these important situations. Fletcher Cox also played well, and I really think that's a testament to he can get more rest now, right? Like, he's not constantly on the field. So you got a fresh Fletcher Cox. He basically destroyed that one of those drives at the end with he had the sack with Jordan Davis, and then he had the pressure that forced him out of the pocket. So I was impressed by the defensive tackles in general. Milt Williams was rocking too. He got at the quarterback. That the interior defensive line was like the biggest plus for this team.
Yeah, Josh Sweat got in there for a sack as well. Other than that, I mean, he was so close to getting that interception, that almost equivalent to the Cowboys pick 6 that he got in that game.
Remind me of that too. It was because like he was already jumping and then he threw it at his chest. It was weird. Like the throw was so off by Jones. The Eagles didn't end up with a ton of sacks today, but I do think
that was a testament to the Patriots' offensive style today.
Yeah, they really. We talked about on the pregame show earlier in the week that they're going to quick game the hell out of the Eagles, get the ball quick, try to get crossing routes, try to confuse them, screen passes, RPOs, and they did it, and they did it to perfection. Like, the middle of the defense was a problem today. I'm curious tomorrow to kind of get the PFF stats on just where the Patriots were attacking the field and like the total stats, because I think 60 to 70%, minimum 60% of their offense was coming right down the pipe. And I thought Nakobe Dean was a up and down, like he was a roller coaster today. I thought he started off really well, and then they were kind of picking him apart in the pass game in the second quarter. He's hurt. So you brought up before the podcast that he left in a walking boot. But do you know any other updates on it? That's basically it. I didn't see anything else. Like,
no, it's basically pretty standard, man. You had pain in his foot. When you have pain in your foot and you don't have any positive X-rays, meaning that there's nothing broken, you can put him in a walking boot, and then you can get the evaluation a little bit later. So
what'd you make of him today?
It's basic pain management.
What'd you think of Nakobe Dean today?
I was actually pretty impressed with him in the first quarter of the game. I think he was flowing really well to the ball in the run game. I had a little bit of a tough time seeing what happened on those checkdowns they had over the middle and those short completions where nobody was in the area over the middle, and they suddenly got like 10-15 yards on what looks like what should have been a really short gain. And I'm curious to see what actually happened in that play, what the linebackers are aiming for, like what their coverage drop points are, because it's very clear that when Christian Ellis got in there, it was the exact same thing. When Zach Cunningham got burned in the play, it was the same thing as well. So when you see the same thing from 3 different linebackers, usually it's a coaching thing where you go, okay, what is in their mind from a coverage standpoint? Do they have a landmark they have to get to? Are they what are they concerned about from that scheme they're playing on that play? So I'm curious to see exactly what went wrong on those plays, and if it's something that schematically we can expect moving forward, or
it felt like Bill O'Brien had this size number, just knew where he just knew where those players were going to sit in the zones. But yeah, the Patriots offense was good too. Like we talked about the defense, but Mac Jones was accurate today, except for the pick 6. He put the ball in the right spots. The
Kendrick throws were really impressive.
Yeah, Kendrick Bourne was awesome. Like, some of the routes he was running were really solid today. He had the big gain and he had the touchdown. Like, that route he put on James Bradbury was really nice. So I thought the Patriots I thought the Patriots, they exceeded my expectations today on both sides of the ball.
Yeah, and it's classic NFL, right? Where you leading up to a game, you have a clear idea that there's this massive gap between the skills of these teams, and that whenever they lose a couple starters, you go, okay, that tips the scale in terms of whether they can actually be competent against each other. Patriots lose 3 offensive linemen, you go, there's no way they can be competent against the Eagles, but they just have, like, these guys are pros. They have the way of working around those things, and especially when you have a veterans coaching staff as the Patriots do, they're a really good team to actually be in that situation for. Like, they can work around those stuff. They knew that those 2 offensive linemen weren't going to be playing. They've been prepping for that all week, all offseason, basically leading up to this to the opener here. So, yeah, I think they did a really good job executing, and it kind of reminds us that, I mean, the margin between these players in the NFL is really small.
Yeah, it's week one. Everyone's starting at the same point, right? Everyone's at the start of the finish, the start line. So, yeah, you're right. It kind of just goes to show that maybe fans in general just kind of overestimate every single game, and the Eagles should beat every opponent that the way that they believe the team is on paper in the macro standpoint, but it doesn't always work like that every single game, especially in week one. Anything else?
That being said, big time blowout against the Vikings this week. Let's go.
Yeah, I'm feeling a statement win, and it kind of reminds me, like, I was thinking, it kind of feels like last year a little bit, because remember the Lions game? Like, the Lions came all the way back, and they made it really interesting in that game. But the Eagles' offense was successful in that game, right? Like, that's kind of the difference. Like, the Eagles' offense was moving the ball against the Lions. Eagles' defense was bad. It was kind of a little bit both in this game. But we get the Vikings again on Thursday night. Any other players specifically on the defensive side of the ball? I thought Reed Blankenship played pretty well. The Hunter Henry touchdown's tough. Like, Hunter Henry's just bigger than him, right? Like, it was kind of just a one-on-one, guy's bigger than your guy kind of play.
We should have had that interception in the end zone.
Yeah. And I thought, like, that tackle on, I think it was Ramondre Stevenson, or could have been Zeke, where he flew down from the middle of the field at the tackle on shoestring. Yeah, 3rd and 10. That was huge.
Carter, there was nobody behind him.
Yep. I thought he popped off the screen. Sidney Brown on special teams, Thomas.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I would like to see
him on special teams. I mean, these guys showed up in the special teams.
Yeah, especially besides the besides the 2 timeouts. I mean, in general, the special teams is okay. Sitboss punted the ball, I think, okay. And then Sidney Brown the tackle. But yeah, I'm trying to think of anything else. Like, I don't want it to overreact too much to this.
Jake Elliott, big time game from him. Like,
yes,
he was money in this game. He had to be. Very few scoring chances for the offense. So he nailed the, what do you have? Like, did he have 2 or 3 50+? He had a 51 and a 54, I know. Then he had 2 more. Maybe they're a little bit shorter. Maybe one in the 40s, one in the 30s. Yeah, big game from him for sure. And yeah, I think Britton Covey actually did okay returning. He had one that went for about 20 yards. I think that was a really good one. Made a couple guys miss. He didn't make any big time mistakes. What else can we do here?
Yeah, I think of any of the specific players. It's hard to kind of like specific on one guy, because I was kind of focused and just in my head what's going on. Like, I was more worried about the coaching staff and the behind the scenes, like I said earlier, than individual players catching my eye here.
We'll see a lot more of when we actually get to see the trenches as well, to see how the offensive line was doing.
Anything else? I think we pretty much touched on everything. I don't want to overreact to this. I think they're going to be fine.
Yep, I agree. And they have a couple of days here to take a look at here. They come off a win against the Patriots. They actually they pull it off here. Vikings lost today, as far as I believe.
They did. An embarrassing fashion in the Bucs. So they're gonna be pissed off. Like, that's the team
but they're gonna have a short week and they're gonna be traveling. So
and at the lake, baby. I'm just looking at the stats. Mac Jones, 54 passes. It caught, like, is off. Like, that is a lot of throws. Like, it felt like the second half, the Patriots were just constantly on the field. And especially in the second quarter too. Like, the first quarter, the Eagles dominated. The first drive was like 7.5 minutes by the time the Patriots get the ball, and then it was a complete 360 from that point on.
Yeah.
All right, I think that's it. You got anything else?
No, man. This is got the dub here. Just got to move on.
I'm really curious to hear all 22. Like, there's a lot more I need to digest here. We're doing it right after, so this is kind of just instant reactions. But I feel like I need to sit on this one.
Yeah, and it's a short week, man.
Yeah. So next time we'll be breaking down Vikings, and hopefully the all 22 comes out by then. When does it usually come out? When do you usually get your hands on it?
I think it's 24 to 36 hours after the game.
Okay. So hopefully next time I talk to Thomas, he'll break down the film. We can go more in depth into what he saw behind the scenes, the play calling, the schematic aspects of this, because 2 new coordinators, so everything's going to look different from last year. But thank you so much for tuning in. Really appreciate it. Make sure to check out our sponsors, Manscaped, BetterHelp, and Sweat Taylor. And we will talk to you later.